Hi there, welcome back to History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today I want to go over yet another box set because I just had a couple more that were related, obviously, to the channel. And I know a lot of people come here for all of Fleetwood Mac or, obviously a lot more Stevie Nicks content. But I did want to go over Lindsey Buckingham's few box sets that he had. The first one came out in 2018, which was a solo anthology. I want to say that the Stevie Nicks box set came out just prior or just afterwards. I think prior, because people were really online. There's just really a normal bitch fest, if you will, not on the better sites, but on the sites that just really want to pit Lindsey against Stevie or Stevie against Lindsey, and saying that he was copycatting her box set and such. I always just found that really vulgar, and just I hate when people do that. But also because they had all just sold their rights to their music, and so I think this was kind of just a one last breath. I think it's something that both Lindsey and Stevie had going well before they sold their rights, because again, is that their rights, or I think that's the right term, copyrights to their songs, something that they had going on for a long time. And Lindsey and Stevie both have a healthy solo career, so it would only make sense for Lindsey to do something. Of course, Lindsey's going to be a bit smaller. Actually, it's about the same size, because Stevie had her greatest hits, but then this would be kind of Lindsey's same thing. And, this came out, I want to say, let's see, Stevie's had her greatest hits on, she had the Crystal Visions, she had Time Space to begin with, and then she had Crystal Visions, which was a nice double vinyl set. And then she had, what was it, the Enchanted box set, but that was CDs. So basically the first and only thing that I can think of Lindsey at all, actually, has just been this one for his greatest hits. And this was a nice box set. So really, for Lindsey to put anything out for the first time, because, we had already gotten several with Stevie, this was just a really nice one, in my opinion. Again, a nice full box. And then I think this one came with something signed, I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess not. This is the little paper inside. I swear that this had something signed in it, and maybe I've taken it out. Maybe it was a, you know what I think it was? I think it was a solo, Rilo, a separate copy of this, because I know I have a couple CDs signed, and I think that's what it was. Maybe it's just the CD inserts and not the boxes. Although I'm sure you could have gotten some signed, or if I'm mistaken again, it could have been an insert of this as well that was signed. But anyway, it really doesn't matter. I think this is a beautiful box set. This is a good culmination of his greatest hits. And at first, for a lot of us, if you know, which is going to be the next video I make, there's quite a few of Lindsey's records that hadn't made it onto vinyl, or they had made it onto vinyl, but only in certain countries, or like Seeds We Sow and Under the Skin, things like that, Gift of Screws, those were really hard to come by on vinyl. If you didn't get it like right when it came out, it became pretty obscure pretty quickly. So, but unfortunately, I think the box set only goes up to I don't even remember now. Well, but we're going to do that next video. But my point is that when we got this greatest hits box, it was the first time we were hearing a lot of that stuff on vinyl for the first time. We not only had some, some additional things like that. I thought it was kind of cute that they had added Sleeping Around the Corner from the Buckingham McVie album. Trouble live, Go Insane live, Bleed to Love Her live. But having, kind of an updated and cleaned up Slow Dancing and stuff from Go Insane, even though it had been put out on vinyl and gotten in 84 and stuff like that. But again, the biggest wonderful thing was getting anything from Out of the Cradle, anything from 1992 on this and hearing it. Little did we know that later we would get a box set where we finally got Out of the Cradle on vinyl again properly. I think the only place it was released was like in Europe somewhere, and even that was kind of vague. But this was a, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 record set. That's a lot of records. And again, it was just really nice, and it's just full of great hits. And it's kind of cool that nothing's in order. I kind of like that. I kind of like when everything is kind of scattered. There's a time and a place for things to be in order, but I think I like it when things are out of order, because it's just kind of like putting your favorite stuff on shuffle. And I am correct, it is indeed 6 records. That's a lot of records. It just kind of goes to show you again that he's got his own, his own brand of stuff. I mean, I don't pit them against each other. I think that they're, obviously Stevie has the more successful and known solo career, but you put Lindsey's, Holiday Road or Vacation or Trouble or Go Insane, or there's just so many things that really come to mind of Lindsey's work as well. So the first side of the first record is Don't Look Down, Go Insane, Surrender the Rain, Rockaway Blind, Holiday Road, and Doing What I Can. It's off to an incredible start. The last side of the stuff, let's see here, is actually 2 songs. The last thing is 2 songs of I'm So Afraid Live and Go Your Own Way Live. So that's the last side to the 6th record. So I mean, it starts right out the gate and it ends, in with the stand up applause, and it's a really great box set. There's really just not much to it. The records are all in these really nice sleeves, but that's it. There's no fanfare. They're not in any kind of fanciness or anything like that, but it's fine. And record labels, it's real nice thick vinyl. It's not 180 milligram, but it's heavier, nicely pressed vinyl. And it's really a treat to have. I think that this one is still pretty available. I don't know, I haven't checked. I mean, I got it right when it came out, and it was also steel. I mean, again, if you want to be like, oh, well, that's because he's not as popular, which I don't think anybody watching me would ever say. I think that, most of my audience is pretty cool on the whole, loving the whole band. But I want to say this anthology was under $100. And I also want to say that Lindsey's box set of his records was about $100. Whereas Stevie's, I mean, we were waiting for a little bit more of Stevie's on vinyl. There's only really one that we wanted of Lindsey's, but it just doesn't matter. It's just, I like when the box sets are a little bit more affordable. I also like when CDs are a little bit more affordable, and the CDs of Stevie's stuff is way more expensive. I mean, for me, I would just only have gotten the vinyl. A lot of people don't care for vinyl though, so they're real happy to have a CD collection. This was a really nice CD collection that came out in I want to say 1 CD or 3 CDs, something like that. And I never actually got the larger CD set. I actually put it out there that I wanted it signed, and somebody was going to make me an offer or trade with me, but it just never happened. I think I had a signed single edition, a duplicate, and I was willing to trade that for a signed 3 CD set, which might seem like a bad offer, but I just want a signed, I just want that set, and I would like the signed insert, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, this is a great thing. If you can go out and get it, I would highly advise you to do so. It's, I don't know. I love Lindsey's work. And honestly, when you put this on and you just listen to it, like I said, in the order and the mixed up order and stuff, you're happily surprised by the songs that you recall. If you have been following Lindsey's solo career your whole life, since he came out with Law and Order in '81, you're just pleasantly surprised by the songs. You're like, oh yeah, maybe I listened to that album more at a certain time. Maybe again, not as much as Stevie or Christine or obviously Fleetwood Mac music. And so you're listening to it and it's pleasant. For things that you don't know as well, there's plenty of songs on here that I love, but I don't listen to probably as much, and I haven't been as familiar with as, of course, Stevie's music or Fleetwood Mac's music. But when you just listen to the whole order of it, I've never skipped a song. I've never said, nah, I don't want to start with record A and go to B and go to C and go to, no, I always play this straight through if I play it, or I play it straight through in a couple days. But yeah, this is just a really great set, and it's a really attractive set. It's a nice, simple box. Yeah, if I were you, I'd go out and get it. But, again, we hadn't talked about this box. If I make this video just about this, it's kind of short, but if I start adding the other one, it's going to go too long. So we're going to cut this one down, and I'll start talking about Lindsey's box set, much like Stevie's, and we'll talk about that next time. So thank you so much for joining me. Go on and get this if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Night.